Assalamu alaikum. Hi, my lovelies. Welcome to the very first episode of the Revert Remedy. Now, I know. You don't need to tell me. This delay has been appalling. It has been very appalling. But I'm not going to lie to you. I was in two minds. I was like, should I continue? I haven't even started, but should I continue? I don't know. I feel like there's so many times where I just doubt myself, and this was one of the times. I just wasn't sure if it was something I should do. But then I thought about when I first reverted and how it was for me, and I thought, you know what, you can't quit now. Not that I wanted to quit, but you know what I mean. You know. Anyway, welcome to the very first episode of the Revert Remedy. I'm your host, Thalatha, which, for those who don't know, it means mother of, and Thalatha is a number 3 in Arabic. Mother of 3. I hope that makes sense. I'm so excited to finally be sitting here with you guys, sharing my heart, my journey, and hopefully, inshallah, a little bit of hope and healing. Let's see where it takes us. So this space is for all of us, whether you're a revert, a born Muslim, rediscovering your deen, anyone in between or considering Islam, or even non-Muslims who want to know more for the sake of like reverted relatives, friends or colleagues, or even neighbours. You're welcome. No shunning over here, no sir. It's a space without judgment, without pressure, just honesty. Warmth, real conversations. That's how we get down over here. Anyway, today I want to tell you my journey to Islam. Now, before I get started, I just want to put it out there. My story is not mind-blowing. It's not mind-blowing at all. Like, I've heard revert stories that have made me cry. They've left me in awe, have left me thinking about it all day. Unfortunately, my story isn't going to blow your socks off, okay? But it's still a great story to me, because Islam for me came from nowhere, like absolutely nowhere. I didn't even know anything about Islam, but I'll get into that. So yeah, although my story might not be exciting for others to hear, for myself and it being my story, I still get chills, because every so often I sit and I think, me, like little old me, out of everyone in my family, me, cute. Anyway, let me take you right back to the start, before Islam was even on my radar, before I even knew what I was searching for. So I was born here in the UK, British born, Jamaican, and like most or many Caribbean households, Christianity is sort of like your religion by default. But in my household, we didn't practice it at all. I was raised by a single mum. Life wasn't always easy. There were 4 of us, me and my 3 siblings. My youngest coming in when I was only 14. I say only 14, that's young. Like, I was 14. And I voluntarily just took the role of second mum to my baby brother. Even though I'm not the eldest, I have a big sister, but she had a baby already, so she was occupied with my niece. And I just felt it necessary to help my mum with my baby bro, because his dad dipped way before he was born. My mum never asked for my help though. It was just, I enjoyed being around him, and you know, it's not easy being a single mum, which I've seen, just watched through my mum. Money was always tight. We only went abroad, I would say a couple times. Once to Jamaica when I was about 3 or 4, and another time to France, I believe. But these were funded by family every time. My mum wasn't able to afford it. Birthday, Christmas presents, those were only really given by my aunt and uncles, or like other relatives when we'll go visit them. clothes, shoe shopping, extremely rare. Takeaway, restaurant visits, nope, absolutely not. Even £1 for own clothes day. Do you remember in school when, it would be, well, we called it Mufti Day. Apparently that doesn't exist. People are like, what's Mufti Day? But where I grew up, it was called Mufti Day, own clothes day. Okay, everyone had to bring in £1 or 20p. My mum was like, no, I ain't got it. So we had to raise that bad boy in the playground. You got 20p, you got 5p, or do you have 10p? Just to give it, like, the thing is as well, if you don't have it, could the school really just be like, no, you need to go home? Like, come on, man. Had us all stressed. But my schooling, it was actually in Southall. Primary and secondary school. I grew up in Southall. And to this day, Southall is like the heart of my childhood. I wouldn't change it. Like, I don't know. People might think that's strange, but I just love Southall. To this day, I love Southall. I ain't got nothing bad to say about Southall. That's where I grew up, and I had the best time. I have no faults about Southall. So the main religion in Southall is Sikhism, and then I think Islam is second, which is crazy to me because growing up there, I knew nothing about Islam, but a lot about Sikhs and Hindus. I didn't know there was such a thing. Imagine, yeah, I have to say this. I didn't even know there was such a thing as Bengali people. Can you believe it? Until my early 20s when I moved to East London. Can you believe it? I honestly, people think that's mad. That's probably ignorance on like my part, or my mum didn't teach us because we were just taught to love all. It doesn't matter where they're from. So I just thought Asians were Asian. Like, I knew they were Sikhs, I knew they were Hindus, and Islam, the only Muslim people that I knew in my school were Pakistani. So I don't even think there was any Bengalis in my school. There probably was, but I didn't know. They didn't make it known to me. But yeah, there was hardly any white people in my school. Maybe like a handful. And there were quite a few black people. There were quite a lot of us black people, I'm not going to lie. But one thing I can say is I never faced any racism or discrimination for being black. Maybe some people did, because obviously not everyone experiences are the same. But yeah, for me, I was welcomed by everyone. I did date as well. I did date boys throughout my years in school, and all of them were Sikh, and maybe like a couple Hindu. Anyway, let's move on to East London. So at the age of about 16, my mum decided we were going to move to East London. And honestly, I was crushed. I was crushed because all I could think about was how it was going to affect me. Like, my friends, what about my friends? What about my boyfriend? Pathetic. But I just felt like my world was falling apart because all I knew was West. All I knew was Southall. So to be moving to East was so foreign to me. Like, how could you just up and leave? And this was to move closer. These were in my mum's words, by the way. We need to move closer to the family, who, by the way, were in South London. So I don't know where my mum thought she was going with East Ham. Like, first we were going to move to Barking, which is actually where I live now. Mad. So we first moved to Barking, but then the tenancy went awry, so that didn't work out, and then we got moved to, I believe it was East Ham. Foreign to me. I just, honestly, it was a big change. Different people, different vibes altogether. Like, I still couldn't let go of West London though, so I decided to stay in my secondary school. Well, my mum, she was like, you might as well stay, and I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. She was like, what's the point of moving your school? You're in your GCSE year. It was a mission. It was an absolute mission to go from East Ham to Southall Monday to Friday. Like, it just didn't make sense. And it's start new school. I was doing my GCSEs, and I also went college in Hammersmith, so that's how you know that I was just, yeah, that's how you know my heart was still there in West. because East London, I was like, this ain't for me. It's not for me. But yeah, so college, let's fast forward. This is where things changed, I would say. So about 2 years now into me being in East London, I'm about 18. Facebook was popping. I'm sure everyone remembers Facebook was popping. Everyone was on there. And do you remember like reading massive Facebook arguments and being invested? Yeah. That's where I met my husband, ladies and gents. That's where I met my husband, in Facebook comments. So yeah, he decided to get involved in a Facebook argument between his friend and a girl, I think, and he said something quite insulting. He said profanities to the girl, which he's not proud of, he admits. But I saw, and I was intrigued. Bearing in mind, this guy had no profile picture. This guy had no profile picture. So I clicked his page. God, what's going on with my voice? I think I need some water. I'm good. So I clicked his page. It was private, or I don't even know how Facebook was it like, could you have a private page? I can't remember. All I know is it was restricted. Couldn't see all his pictures and all of that. So I friend requested him. Even after seeing what he said to this girl, I friend requested him like a weirdo. And after I friend requested him, I left it. Like, I forgot. And I continued for the next couple of weeks, forgetting that I even friend requested this guy, because that's just how Facebook was. So 2 weeks later, he DM'd me on Facebook. Yo, B, what's going on? Where you from? Ugh, cheese. And I was just like, oh, I responded. I said, I just moved to East a couple years ago. I'm still new around here. I don't know anyone. He's like, you don't need to know anyone. I could be your personal tour guide. Bearing in mind, this guy never left Manor Park. So, yeah. Red flag. And he was an absolute red flag. He has approved me telling his story and speaking about him, so that's okay, because he's now reformed. He's a family man now, so alhamdulillah, he doesn't mind me speaking about how we met and what he was about. So this guy was an absolute roadman. He was an absolute roadman. And the thing is, he told me that. He told me, I'm not a good guy. Hear me. Oh, I don't care. Stop. Oh, gosh. Even when I think about it, I just have to laugh, because he told me he's not a good guy, and I didn't give a damn. So anyway, we were talking all night. And then he was like, I want you to be my girl. I said, okay. I didn't even know what he looked like. His profile picture was him holding his cap with his head down. And I was like, yeah, okay. Don't follow my lead, honestly, because people have asked me before if, oh, I'm talking to this guy, but I feel like he's going too fast. I'm like, listen, I'm not the person to advise you, hon. I'm the girl that said yes 5 hours into talking to someone that I've never met. So yeah. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In my what's that word? I don't know what the word is, but it worked for me. Let's just say, because yeah, we are almost 15 years deep with 3 children. So sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. Anyway, this dude, Pakistani, British born, youngest in his family. I did not associate him with Islam at all. Like, I didn't even think, oh, I wonder what religion this guy is, because like I said, we grew up to love all. So those type of things never crossed my mind. I don't even know when I even found out that he was Muslim, but we've been together at this point. We split up, I would say, a few months afterwards. I did meet him in this time. I met him, I'd say about twice, 3 times, and we broke up a few months later. In that time, I had reverted. So let's get into that. So my revert story. When I decided that I wanted to be Muslim, I had been through something traumatic, and this is something that when people do ask me, I don't really get into it. They say, oh, what made you revert? Or, I don't really get into it. But today, I'm going to finally get into why. Like I said, it's not mind-blowing. It's not blow your socks off. But when I was with him, obviously we were doing things we should not have been doing, especially him, because I wasn't even Muslim yet. So, but unfortunately, I did end up pregnant. Now, first of all, I didn't even know I could get pregnant. Obviously, I'm not stupid. I know how babies are conceived, but I didn't think I could get pregnant. So I ended up pregnant, and I think about 8 weeks, I started to bleed, which was crushing for me. All I knew is I didn't want this baby to die. Knowing that you had a baby inside you and that it was no longer there. Oh gosh. I know sisters that have been through, or just women, that have been through miscarriage and stillbirth, and they know what I mean. I was only 8 weeks, but to know that you've got a baby inside you that, is no longer alive, heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching. So all I knew is I did not want my baby to leave. So I was bleeding. I went to hospital. They did a scan. They said, yeah, you're having a miscarriage. They confirmed it. They just said, you have to just let the baby pass. In that time, I was just... Now, as I said, I only knew... in my family, we were Christian. So I was praying to Jesus. I was praying hard. I said, please don't let my baby leave. Please don't let my baby die. And I didn't feel any peace. I didn't feel any solace. I didn't feel any comfort. And... I ended up obviously passing the baby, and I was in a deep depression. My life felt like turmoil. I just felt like, what's the point of anything? And all I wanted to do was, I just wanted to lock myself away. I just feel like, when you go through something like that, you feel like the only option is just to leave. And I did feel like that. I did feel like that, and there were times where I did try to attempt to leave. But I'll get into that another time. I then realized that when I was trying to pray to Jesus, that I felt nothing. And then in my head, I just said, I want to be Muslim. I said, I want to be Muslim. I just said it to myself, which is just, the next day after saying that, all I wanted, I had college, but the only thing I wanted to do was be Muslim. So I did tell one of my college friends, and she said, well, you need to take your Shahada. I asked her, what's that? What is that? She told me, and I said it and I meant every single word. And once I said it, I just felt goosebumps. I felt goosebumps. I can't even thinking about it, I get goosebumps. But I went home and I had a shower, and I just felt brand new. I just felt this renewed energy. Still though, I knew nothing about Islam. I didn't know how to pray. the early days, I'm not gonna lie, it was lonely. I'll get into that, but let me just tell you, my family's reaction was absolutely fine. They were completely supportive, but my family are just super open and welcoming anyway, which I know is not the same for every revert, so for that I am super grateful. My mum was worried at first. She was worried at first as she thought I might have been radicalized or, going through a phase. And she just kept saying, like, you can't just, like, take people's religion and, like, make joke and all of that. And I was like, no, it's not that, I promise. Well, she knows that now, obviously. But the early days were lonely. I had absolutely no friends, no Muslim friends at all. No revert supports. I didn't even know how to pray. Like I said, I didn't know how to pray, or that it had to be done 5 times a day. Apart from my shahada, I didn't know anything about Islam. I didn't even know what the Quran was. I didn't even know how to greet other Muslims. Imagine. And I didn't have a Muslim identity. Like, I didn't obviously cover. I didn't even know you had to cover. Sorry. I just didn't know anything. I was completely all I knew is I was Muslim now, and I was so happy about it. Like, I didn't even care that I know some people when they revert, they think, gosh, how are people going to take it? What am I going to do? Like, anyone that would listen, I would be like, I'm Muslim now, by the way. But anyway, my loves, that's where we'll leave it for now. There will be a part 2. The next part of my journey, I start talking about reconnecting with my husband. So telling him I reverted. This was after, we hadn't got back together. So we did reconnect, and I told him I'd reverted. I'll speak about when we got married and I became a mother, my husband teaching me how to pray, my depression, and finally finding Muslim sisterhood and how they helped me learn about Islam and more. I pray that in sharing my story, you find little pieces you can relate to and reminders that you are never ever alone. Okay, whether you're a brand new revert, a few years into your journey, or still searching for the truth, know that Allah guided you here for a reason. Okay, your path is unique, your struggles are valid, and your connection to Allah is precious beyond measure. Okay, cherish that. This space, the Revert Remedy, will always be here as a gentle reminder that you have a sisterhood, one that understands, supports, and makes dua for you. Okay, so until next time, my loves, keep seeking, keep learning, and never doubt that Allah is with you every step of the way. Okay? Thank you so much for listening. Sorry if I bored you. If you feel like you ain't coming back, sorry about that. But if you are going to join me for part 2 of my revert story, then I shall see you in the next episode. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.